and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica and today I'm going to be showing you how to make these adorable handmade burp cloths. I love giving handmade gifts. I think it makes it really special and fun, and these are super easy. They're lined with this nice soft terry lining. It's nice and absorbent. It's also nice and soft for baby, and then of course they fit perfectly over your shoulder. We're also going to use that same technique to make this adorable lovey. It's got a variety of little ribbons on the side here. Makes for a nice fun little play mat and lovey for your baby. It's going to also have that soft chenille terry backing, which is nice and soft and absorbent as well, so makes it nice and soft and squishy. So let's go ahead and get started on this project. Here's what you're gonna need. Some chenille fabric or cotton terry, a fat quarter or yard of fabric, a decorative ribbon, and some basic sewing supplies. So I've already pre-cut some of my chenille fabric and I just set it aside over here, and then I'm using a fat quarter, but you can also use a yard of fabric or even a fat eighth if you'd like. Now I found I can get 2 of these burp cloths out of 1 fat quarter, which means you can get about 8 of them out of a yard of standard quilting cotton. Of course, if you have some fabric that has a little bit of a longer bolt length, then you can get a little bit more. So I'm just gonna go ahead and line up my fat quarter down here with my ruler mat, and then up here at the 16.5 inch mark, I'm gonna go ahead and cut these across. So I'm actually gonna come down here to the edge of my table and measure over 9.5, and I'll trim one of these. And we'll cut a second one. So now that these are cut, I'm just going to set one aside, and I'm going to grab one of my chenille pieces, and then I'm going to place my fabric right sides together with the chenille. So you want the fun fluffy side up and your right sides of your fabric down. And then I'm just going to add a few wonder clips around this just to kind of hold everything in place. And then on one of these sides, I'm going to go ahead and flip this up, and then we're going to just take our little tab, and I actually just eyeball this, but it ends up being about 3.5 inches. And by the way, you can add a variety of these tabs all the way around the edges in a variety of colors and textures and thicknesses and make a really cute lovey. Kids love playing with these little tabs. So I'm going to fold this in half, and then I'm going to stick the folded edge so it's going inside my fabric, and the raw edges are lined up right here. Clip that into place, making sure I got all of those layers. Next thing we're going to do is take this to our sewing machine, and we're going to sew all the way around, but we are going to leave an opening on one of our side seams. So I would say leave yourself a good maybe 3.5 to 4 inches down here on one of your side seams to leave it open so we can turn it right side out. When I get to my first corner, I'm going to leave my needle in the down position, raise my presser foot, pivot around that corner, and then just go slow over this tab. I used kind of a thicker cotton webbing tab. If you need to, you can also change to a denim needle, a needle that can make it through some thicker fabric. Alright, I just backstitched here, and I'm going to cut my threads. Now I'm just going to go ahead and trim off these corner edges, and you're going to want to get close to your stitch line but not into it. So that'll just help these corners turn out and be a little bit less bulky. Do that on all 4 corners. And now we're ready to turn our burp cloth right side out. So just carefully push it through the opening. And by the way, like I said, you can get a couple of these per fat quarter, or about 8 of them a yard of standard quilting cotton fabric. And so these are great for gifts. You can make a lot of them at once, and when I'm doing this for gifts, I will make several of them and bundle them all together, put them in a little gift basket with maybe some other toys and other goodies. And I'm just going to grab one in my little purple thing here. I usually use my Hera marker, but I can't seem to locate it. And you can also use a chopstick or a pin cap and just kind of get those corners poked out nice and neat. And then we're going to take this over to our ironing board and just give it a good press. And then we're going to do a top stitch all the way around the outside edge to close it off. And so when I'm pressing it, I'm going to go ahead and press this edge in by about 1/2 inch and the chenille edge as well. And then I'm just going to add a couple clips on this opening section just so it stays in place and I remember where it's at. Then we're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and we're just going to do a top stitch all the way around this. We'll close up this opening as we're doing that. All right, so here we are. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is just fold it into thirds. That's gonna help keep all these layers together so they don't get scrunched up. It also makes them fold just a little bit nicer as well. So I'm just gonna eyeball it and fold it into thirds, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make a mark where my folds are. And then I'll just go ahead and put some clips in there so that I know where to sew down. I'm gonna take this over to my sewing machine and just sew a nice straight line from marker to marker. That'll give our burp cloth a little bit more structure, and then it will also help it stay nice and folded when we gift it. And here we are, all done. We've got a nice, soft, absorbent side on one side and then a fun, colorful side on the other. By the way, you can totally make these into loveys instead of burp cloths, or dual use, burp cloth plus lovey, simply by adding a ton of fun, colorful ribbons around the edges in a variety of sizes and lengths. Next, I added my outer layer and just simply used the same clips that were holding on my ribbons to hold my outer layer in place. Then you're going to do the same thing as the burp cloth and just sew all the way around the edges. You do need to leave an opening to turn it right side out, so I think I'm just going to remove this one ribbon and just set that aside so that I know to leave this bit open. Then I would go ahead and top stitch all the way around the outside, leaving this open to turn it right side out. Again, press it and top stitch all around the outside edge, and then you can add this ribbon back in when you do your top stitch to close up this opening. Now the last thing we have to do is just bundle these up for gifts, and I just like to kind of stack them up like this, and then I'll just take a strip of scrap fabric that I have for my scrap bins over there and just tie them together, snip it off, and you're good to go. And then these are perfect to add into little gift baskets as well. And we'll just snip off the extra. And here we go, our super fun and easy handmade gift idea. Alright guys, that is it for today's project. As you can see, this was super fun and easy, and you can really make quite a few of these with very little supplies and very little time. I also made this adorable lovey that you saw in the video as well, and I followed the exact same instructions for the burp cloth, except instead of adding one tab, I added several different tabs in a variety of sizes, shapes, and colors to help make this lovey a little bit more interesting for your little one. So if you enjoyed today's projects, please make sure to thumbs up and subscribe. That way I know to keep making these fun projects for you. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and happy sewing! Hold on, I'm still doing something.
What are you doing?
The intro for this video. Close the door. And we're going to use that same technique to make a fun lovey as well, with all of these fun little different... I put a variety of ribbons in various shapes, and then we made the burp cloth using the exact same technique, and then I made the... It's a lovey. Why can't I talk today? Holy cow. The words are hard. Words are hard. Okay. Here's our little... Where did my tab go? Don't lose your tab. So here we are. Oh, let me get my edges pressed out. Where's my thingy?